Welcome to the final Sunday of the regular season, and the game of the day is in snowy Buffalo. The Bills hosting the Chiefs. The winner goes to the playoffs. The loser likely is done. Jim Kelly's Bills were 9-3 just 3 weeks ago. They've lost 3 in a row, but all of those were on the road. Today, they return to Rich Stadium. The biggest surprise of the season is the Carolina Panthers. In just their second year, they can clinch a first-round playoff bye with a win today over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last year, linebacker Kevin Green led a vaunted Steeler defense to the Super Bowl. This year, he's trying to do the same in Carolina. Is there a more resilient team in football than the amazing Indianapolis Colts? Counted out just a few weeks ago, they are a virtual lock to claim a playoff berth today. And by winning today in Cincinnati, Jim Harbaugh and his teammates can secure a home wildcard game. Hi, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Joe Gibbs, Mike Ditka, Chris Collinsworth. Ahmad Rashad joins us shortly, and happy holidays to you and yours from all of us here. It is snowing, the wind is blowing in Buffalo. Have you ever had to go in there and play the Bills on a bad day?
You know, I've lost a lot of games in a lot of different places, but I think the toughest place to try and win a clutch game is in Buffalo, Rich Stadium in December or January, and the atmosphere there today is going to be absolutely unbelievable and maybe only matched by the atmosphere down in Carolina today.
Rabid fans, Mike.
Well, I think what Chris said is right. I tell you, it's going to be one heck of a football game, and the Chiefs know this now. The last 4 times these teams have played, Buffalo's won 3 of them, and 2 of those were playoff games. This basically is the playoff game because the winner stays, the other guy goes home. The key to the Chiefs is one thing, in my opinion. They must control Bruce Smith. He has been dominating through the second half of the season, actually all season, and if they don't control him, and I mean with a tight end, they better double team him or they're going to be in big trouble.
It's fun to watch games with a lot at stake. For these 2 organizations, a lot at stake. Hey, it's amazing. A win here, everybody forgets all the tough things that have happened to them all year. A loss, man, they got to live with this all offseason. It could be a long, hard, tough road in the offseason for the loser.
Yeah. Mike gets into his analyst mode real early in the day.
He's ready, man. He's ready to kick it off.
And before we get started, a reminder for you, we have a couple of segments at the end of our show today on the Buffalo Bills, the core group that went to 4 Super Bowls. Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, Marv Levy, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith. Why, there they are. Their extended conversation with Bob Costas comes up about 35 minutes from now. Well, Buffalo hosts the Kansas City Chiefs less than an hour from now. The winner is in the playoffs. The loser gets in only if Jacksonville loses at home to Atlanta. The Chiefs have made the playoffs every year in the 90s, the only NFL team to do so. The Bills have made the playoffs all but 1 year since 1988. But both these teams are struggling. Marv Albert and Sam Weish now have a report on the showdown. Marv.
All right, thank you very much, Greg. And the major question for the Buffalo Bills, the injury status of their standout linebacker, Bryce Popp, who is bothered by a groin problem. Sam, he will play, although not full-time.
Well, he's playing with an injured groin. It means he can run straight up the field, okay, but he can't change direction. The key is, can he push the quarterback back to Bruce Smith, who I think is going to have a pretty easy time with John Alt only 80% because of a bad back.
And for the Kansas City Chiefs, it will be Steve Bono back at quarterback for the man that he replaced. Rich Gannon was bothered by a pulled hamstring. The injury suffered last week against Indianapolis, but you certainly have to wonder about Steve Bono's mentality. He's still upset that he was replaced by Gannon. We asked Steve what reasons was he given for that move.
I honestly do not know. It has been, that's one of the things that Marty and I talked about when he made a decision, that it's been a very negative atmosphere for me for the last 11 months, basically, since the playoff game in January.
Marv, that's a serious problem. This is a quarterback that has no energy, no optimism, no positive outlook on this thing, and that's going to show in the huddle here today. They need this guy to perk it up a little bit.
All right, and here in Buffalo, light snow is falling. For more on that, let's go to the field and Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Marv. Well, there has been a lot of snow in Buffalo this week. It snowed 24 inches on Friday. They cleared all that snow out of the stadium, off the field. There'll be no snowballs, but this morning there has been light snow all day, and we are expecting flurries throughout the game. The field is in pretty good shape right now. They had it covered. It's not too slick, but that could deteriorate very, very quickly. The temperature is not bad right now, 25 degrees with the wind 15 to 20 miles an hour. It feels like about 10 degrees down here on the field. That's the story from here. Let's send it back to our studios in New York City and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim. We look for Jim to thaw out long around May or
cold,
June.
didn't he? He looked cold.
Kansas City's lost 3 out of 4. Buffalo's lost 3 straight. Both these teams are struggling. Kansas City more so than the Bills?
Yeah, I think so, because of some of the problems they've had on their offensive line. Mike talked about Bruce Smith being the key, and I think that's right, because John Alt, their left tackle, really hasn't been healthy for an entire game for the last 2 months. If Jeff Criswell has to play in his place at that left tackle position, I just don't think there's any way in the world he can block Bruce Smith. There was a game a little while back in their careers, Bruce Smith had 4 sacks against them.
Well, you know, in this game, you got to figure Buffalo has the edge. But, you know, when you look at what's happened the last couple of weeks, Buffalo's given up 12 sacks in the last 2 weeks. They're -9 on the takeaway-giveaway ratio. Now, that's what can kill them today. If they turn the football over, they're going to give Kansas City a chance to win this football game.
Hey, what else about this game, Joe?
Well, I think that it's certainly important to the two organizations, but inside this game, there's going to be some interesting individual stories played out. For instance, hey, can Kelly step up, be productive in a playoff game? How about Bono? Is he going to be able to answer the critics? And then we're going to have some gut checks in there, too. We're talking about Thurman Thomas, Bryce Pop, both are playing with injuries. So it's going to be interesting, all the little stories, besides the big picture for the two organizations.
And, you know, Joe, you just have to wonder if the loser of this game, maybe they begin to dismantle that franchise a little bit. These are older teams.
They could.
All right, that's one key AFC game today with another. Let's go to Ahmad.
You know, Greg, I love those cold games up there in Buffalo, especially from a 73.
Registered turnovers and just 6 points going into the fourth quarter, trailing 9-6. The Bills also recovered 2 of their own fumbles.
You know, we played well this first day. I think the problem was we just kept turning the ball over, and when you do that, it makes it awfully hard on you. And you know, we had a couple drop passes. When we did fumble, a lot of times we was losing yardage. You know, we had positive yards. So I mean, it's a situation where I think that we've got to find a way to hold on the ball. And I said it before. I think people are trying to do too much to make a play, and when that happens, sometimes you turn the ball over.
Players know with the playoffs looming next weekend, there's no way they can continue to make the same kind of mistakes they've made over the past month and hope to move on in the playoffs.
We made some plays today, but obviously, you know, we need to make a little bit more plays to help our defense out, to keep our defense off the football field. There was a couple of times where we 1, 2, 3 and punt, and that's not what we want to do. But I think our main thing right now is that we made the playoffs, and hopefully we can make some changes in our offense that where we can start scoring some points.
We know we have to play better, and that was even said in the locker room after the game that, you know, though it was a good win, we know we have to play better offensively, and, you know, it's up to the guys on offense to do it. We have to go out and we have to practice well during the week, and if we want to advance in this tournament, we have to play better on offense, and we know that.
Taking better care of the football is the best place to start.
Hey, pretty good advice. Bills general manager John Butler with us, who's been telling him this week in and week out. And John, you had to be concerned when you already were a -2 at the half, you're trailing, and then Eric Moles puts it on the carpet there to start the second half. Now you're a -3, and
it's not looking good.
Yeah, not looking good.
There's no doubt about it. You know, there's only so much the defense can do, and they were just remarkable today. They came up again and held them to a field goal. When that took place, and then later on, Bruce comes up with a big play. Chris comes up with a big play. We turned into scores and get some points off it. That's the way it's got to be done. So my hat's off to that whole ball club today. The defense just played remarkable. The offense came alive when they had to and got it done.
And, of course, Chris Spielman with that vertical leap. I don't know
48 inches. He's a little higher than I got him.
But you'll take it. But, again, the turnover.